Good afternoon. It is now my pleasure and honor to introduce to you our keynote speaker and the 2021 Borlaug Cast Communication Award winner, Dr. Sarah Avenger, lead stakeholder communication at Pairwise, an innovative startup based in North Carolina. Sarah previously served as the founding director of the Alliance for Science, a global communications initiative based at the Boyce Thompson Institute that promoted evidence-based decision-making in agriculture. I have no doubt it'll soon be clear why she was a very worthy recipient of this 2021 award. Thank you, Sarah, for joining us today.
Thank you so much, Kent. Good afternoon, everyone. It's so nice to be here. Thank you, Anne, for all of your support, and Anna. It's great to be here again with CAST, and what an honor to share this virtual stage with someone I have long admired, Dr. Shavonda Jacobs-Young. So since last we spoke, I left my comfortable position in academia, just as I promised to do. In fact, it was last October when I was receiving this award that I made this promise. Because as I said that day, we need to set a bolder table for the future. We need to reject exclusivity, form unlikely alliances, and be bold and daring altruists. So I left my seat at the head of the Alliance for Science table, and I'm happy to report that a new face is taking a seat at that table, a new face and a new voice. And now I have a seat at a new table. In January, I joined Pairwise, as Kent said, a food and tech startup that is focused on building a healthier world through better fruits and vegetables. So now I'm a new voice and a new face at Pairwise. And creating space for others offered me a new way to create change and explore my passion and evolve my purpose as a science communicator. I was so honored to receive the Borlaug Cast Communication Award, which was made possible by CAST, now celebrating 50 years, but also by the Farm Journal Foundation and FMC, organizations that align with the message that I shared in Iowa as part of the World Food Prize events. And I'm so thankful to be with you again today to celebrate the 2022 winner. So I spoke to you about building a bolder table for the future. I talked about how we must all examine our respective tables to more critically communicate to create lasting change. I'm talking about tables from community centers to schools to corporate boardrooms. And I outlined 3 steps to do this. 1, seek inclusivity by examining the past and seeing who's been missing. 2, form unlikely alliances by committing to a better present through collaboration across difference. And finally, be risky and daring altruists so that we can ensure that our future looks different than our past and that we're committing to real change. So today, I want to explore how we as science communicators can take this a step further, how we can do our part to build on the commitment of people like Norman E. Borlaug, for whom this award is named, and to build on the vision and actions of so many previous recipients of this award who are hunger fighters in their own right, all setting bold new tables. Today, I want to talk about how we can all find our science communication purpose, use it, and amplify it in the most powerful ways possible. I'm going to share with you how I'm working on an issue that I'm passionate about, how science communication is helping me improve access to nutritious food for all while protecting both our planet and our people. So how do we nourish both our planet and our people while at the same time ensuring the health and the survival of both? It requires a paradigm shift because so often we think of our planet and people as 2 separate entities, even as conflicting priorities. And this orientation lies at the heart of why both our planet and people are suffering. The truth is, these are 2 challenges that will only be solved if they're solved together. So before we dive into what drives me, my purpose, I want to dive into planet and people because we must reimagine the way we nourish both. So let's start with the basics. And this is pretty basic. I think the debate is pretty much over that our planet is in peril, and we can all agree that without a healthy planet, humanity is going to find it pretty hard to survive. So how do we nourish both our planet and the people living on it when our very approach to one is the reason the other is starving? It's a conundrum. Agriculture, the act of producing the very food that nourishes people, is exacerbating our climate crisis, with agriculture contributing an estimated 1/3 of global greenhouse gas emissions. Agriculture is a major driver of global topsoil loss and a major driver of deforestation, leading to the loss of rich biodiversity. And it's a vicious cycle. Agriculture is a major driver of climate change, and climate change is taking an enormous toll on agriculture. Prolonged droughts and erratic rainfall episodes are worsening with direct impacts on crop yields. Increased temperatures are having detrimental impacts, and more extreme climatic conditions are disrupting food chains and increasing food prices. On top of this, climate change is contributing to malnourishment in several ways and is predicted to worsen. The increased level of carbon dioxide is also detrimental to the nutritional quality of many crops, as observed in wheat, rice, legumes, and several vegetables. In fact, one study predicts that climate change will cause many fruits and vegetable crops to go extinct. Remember in those early days of the pandemic when we couldn't get certain kinds of foods? Now imagine that's our new normal, because that's where we're headed. And it isn't just our planet that's suffering. The people on it, even those who have sufficient calories, are malnourished because they just don't have access to the foods they need. It's been estimated that the reduced consumption of fruits and vegetables caused by the limited access brought about by climate change could double the number of deaths caused by malnutrition by 2050. And that leads me to my purpose, ensuring that the people who live on this fragile earth all have access to safe, nutritious food. There are 3 barriers that make this goal so very challenging. 3 factors that seem to impact access and determine who has and who has not: affordability, availability, and awareness. Now, I'm an educated mother of 3 living in a small university town who loves to cook. I'm lucky. My kids have an adventurous and relaxed relationship with food, which is what every kid should have. No anxiety and a desire to try new things. My 10-year-old decorates his homemade pizza with kale and capers. My 8-year-old daughter prefers fruit to cake. And my 6-year-old can always be relied on to help chop veggies for stir fry. And of course, my kids do love to eat junk. But for my kids, regardless of their occasional Snicker bar, they assume that they have a right to unlimited access to bountiful choices of healthy food. But they don't know just how lucky we are. We can afford food. It's always available in abundance. And they are aware of nutrition and that having a banana for a snack is, as my 6-year-old always says, a healthy choice. As a professional working in food and agriculture, I'm aware that this access should be a right for all families. And yet, this is currently a privilege only some are fortunate enough to enjoy. According to the USDA, ERS, and their data, the wealthiest 1/5 of Americans spend only 7% of their income on food, while the poorest 1/5 spend close to 30%. I can afford to make risky purchases like shishito peppers or a truffle-infused cheese. But the key here is I don't need to be sure that my kids will eat them. I can afford to purchase a lycopene-rich $12 pink pineapple to celebrate Valentine's Day. Families with an insufficient food budget don't have the luxury of taking a risk on food like that. And it is a luxury, and one many of us don't think about. If the child refuses it, the monthly food budget is already spent and there's no money left to go buy the known safe option, which is likely a calorie-rich food formulated to appeal to young children while offering little nutritional value and setting in motion lifetime dietary patterns with profoundly negative health implications. The varied and insidious ways that poverty impacts our food choices are staggering and they're complex, and they often go unnoticed. Affordability, availability, and awareness are not siloed factors. All three impact each other, and all three are factors that determine access. Now, availability can mean a lot of different things. For many, it means having access to fresh produce, even when you live in an isolated rural part of America or in an urban food desert. For us at Pairwise, it also means addressing availability by using new breeding technologies like CRISPR to make healthy, nutritious foods more available to consumers. Rich or poor, the fact is less than 1 in 10 American adults consume the daily recommended amount of fruits and vegetables. Heart disease, obesity, type 2 diabetes, these diseases are all impacted by this one statistic. At Pairwise, we want to understand why that is and use our technology to do something about it. Our company is founded on the key question: can we use CRISPR to lower barriers and create irresistible fruits and vegetables so that people eat healthier foods? Our startup's first product is a super nutritious salad green due to hit supermarket shelves next year under our new consumer brand, Conscious Foods. We used CRISPR to bring this nutritious green into the salad category. This green is from the mustard family, and although it has a great texture and the crunch that we expect in our salad greens, it was not accessible. People can't eat it raw. Actually, it had a pretty awful, off-putting, pungent flavor that had to be cooked out of it. But gene editing has enabled us to eliminate said pungency, and voila, the greens became available for delicious salads, and they're more nutritious than boring old romaine. Or take blackberries. With blackberries, we had a different challenge. People hate the seeds, so they don't eat them, which is really too bad because blackberries are a superfood with huge health benefits. So we're using CRISPR and gene editing to address that as well. We're producing a seedless blackberry. We're making foods available to people that they will actually eat, foods that are high in nutrition and help transform their health. Affordability impacts availability. Availability impacts awareness. If a healthy food is available and affordable, but people aren't aware of it, what good does it do? Healthy food needs to be affordable, available, and people need to be aware of its value for well-being. And what sits at the heart of awareness? Communications. There are so many people who are already working on awareness, and it's making a huge impact. Science communicators like Dr. Shavonda Jacobs-Young, who helps lead the USDA, the very organization that works to ensure that the children in our country don't go hungry. Or Catherine Bertini, whose work while she served as executive director of the World Food Program, transformed it into the world's largest and most responsive humanitarian organization. She's credited with assisting hundreds of millions of victims of wars and natural disasters throughout the world, and work that was recognized when she won the World Food Prize. Or Dr. Cynthia Rosenzweig, who was announced just last Thursday as the 2022 World Food Prize laureate. A former farmer and distinguished scientist, Dr. Rosenzweig is recognized for her pioneering work predicting the impact of climate change on our food system, and more importantly, what we can do about it. Another person who is working to address affordability, availability, and awareness is Melissa Kendrick. Last month, I got to know Melissa, the executive director of the Food Bank of Monterey County. Now, when I say Monterey, you might think of a Steinbeck novel. You might think of the fantastic aquarium there, or you might think of the lovely elite coastal town that bears the same name. I know I did before I met Melissa. But that's not the Monterey I want to talk about. The county of Monterey is a large one. It's actually 1.5 times the size of the state of Delaware. And it's a county of glaring contrasts and great ironies. On the one hand, Some of the country's most affluent people reside there in places like Carmel and Pebble Beach. But it's also a place of extreme poverty. In downtown Salinas, the county's largest city, the median household income is around $20,000 per year. That's roughly $7,000 below the poverty line for just a family of four. The Salinas Valley, which runs 90 miles southeast from the mouth of the Salinas River, is one of the most agriculturally productive places in California. If states like Kansas can claim to be the breadbasket, the Salinas Valley is our salad bowl, known for the production of lettuce, broccoli, cauliflower, peppers, and many other fresh, nutritious crops that make their way to our produce aisles. But there's something profoundly startling about Monterey County. Despite this focus on food production, Monterey County is the most food insecure in all of California. The most food insecure. 1 in 4 residents are hungry, and 66% of farm workers are food insecure. The very people working to grow and produce the food that the rest of us eat are not getting the food that they need. 1 in 3 children in Monterey County are hungry. 1 in 3. Monterey County ranks among the highest in all 58 counties in California in child poverty, childhood homelessness, and incidence of type 2 diabetes. In fact, Monterey County also has more homeless students, young people, kids, than San Francisco and San Jose combined. This is an injustice. Thankfully, there are people working hard to rectify this. Melissa Kendrick and her dedicated team see this injustice, and they're working hard to tackle it. They're recovering and redistributing, making available over 5 million pounds of produce every year, working with over 150 other nonprofits to help get food to the county residents that need it most, but might not be able to otherwise afford it. And that's not all. In addition to providing food, Melissa and her team also work to promote awareness of the importance of healthy diets and exercise. They offer educational opportunities for adults, but also for children. In fact, currently, she's raising funds to develop a 5-acre farm where kids from the Salinas Valley can roll up their sleeves, dig into the dirt, and learn about nourishment, stewardship, and community. Melissa's ability to seriously work for change leads me back to the question I actually started and asked in the beginning. How do we nourish our people while keeping the health of our planet in the forefront of our mind? If these 2 P's, our planet and people, are our biggest challenge, the solution lies in a 3rd P, one that doesn't happen by accident, but comes with intention: our purpose. Vital change for our planet and our people can only be achieved by those with a strong sense of purpose. Melissa Kendrick embodies the idea of purpose. She's taking her passion for ensuring healthy, nutritious food for all and mobilizing others to help her move millions of pounds of food each year to the people who need it most, literally moving food in her mobile food bank. Melissa is building a county food bank, and her work is transformative. But her approach won't work for everyone. Purpose is specific to each person, and there are so many ways to live your purpose. There's no right way to do it. We just need to do it. We need to find our purpose, that transformative place where our expertise and our passion meet. So I was a plant scientist at Cornell working in biotechnology communications. That's my expertise. But I'm also a mother. I have 3 children, young kids, and I'm passionate about their health and their well-being, their growth and their development. And when these 2 things meet, it forms my purpose, that every child has a right to safe, nutritious food. My purpose drives me to make this a reality. And when I'm feeling discouraged, it's my purpose that keeps me going. So how do we, those of us committed to science communication, take this purpose and put it into practice? So there's 2 steps, and I'll use my purpose how do we ensure nutrition for all children, as an example, but the same principles will apply to your purpose. 1, start local. Start in your own backyard. You can talk to your local schools about the food they're serving in the lunch program or the junk in their vending machines. Then go national. Advocate for the passage of the next farm bill and the important food and nutrition programs like SNAP that are in it. You can go global. Write a check to a reputable organization feeding terrorized Ukrainian families, from the elderly to vulnerable children. Or write a letter to the editor. Use your moniker and your prestige to get your science communication out there. Now, for step 2, and this is critical. Communication isn't about the power of one person. We just can't do this alone. Step 2 is the difference between one person making noise and a movement making massive change. The power of communication lies in using our expertise and our passion to get out of our silos and inspire others so that they too can communicate for change. You aren't just one person. You can magnify your impact. You are your colleague, your neighbor, your friends, your alumni network. Talk to people, inspire them to help you create change and work together. All of them can be inspired by your purpose. As Catherine Bertini, a previous winner of this award, recently wrote in a compelling editorial in AgriPulse with Earthren Cousins and Dan Glickman, agriculture, nutrition, and climate for food systems must be integrated. We must work together to nourish the planet and the people. Our desire to advocate for what's in our silo results in us getting in the way of each other. Our inability to see beyond our own lens and expertise hinders us all. We need to shift from adversarial relationships across food, ag, environment, and climate to collaborative ones. And this goes back to what I was talking about last October when I spoke about forming unlikely alliances. As unlikely allies, we often actually share a common purpose: to save the planet. We're just approaching solutions differently. So let's amplify our message and communicate with each other. We can figure out how to get there together in new and different ways. We can make nutritious food available, affordable. We can, while ensuring the planet thrives. That's why I'm at Pairwise. I believe that plant-based solutions rooted in sound technology can address those 2 Ps, planet and people. That's how I'm channeling my purpose as a science communicator. I want people to understand that the solutions are here, right in front of us. We just have to work together to make them happen. So let's not talk to each other. Let's talk with each other. Let's talk with and mindfully hear people in different disciplines, different communities. And let's appreciate and integrate their ideas. Let's recognize that the issues we care about most don't exist in isolation, but must be part of an integrated solution. Change is possible, and communication is the key. Thank you, and congratulations to this year's winner.
Thank you, Sarah, for the thought-provoking and inspiring presentation. We appreciate your time, your thoughts. You're pushing us to think a little broader in terms of really our role as science communication experts. So thank you very much for your presentation today. Virtual that we'll be holding to release and share these events. Thank you for joining us today for today's presentation. If you're interested in supporting CAST work, please use the QR code or visit our website to make a tax-deductible donation that helps support the work of CAST of communicating science, technology, and innovation of agriculture. We appreciate you being with us today to share this important news, to hear some inspiring comments from our 2021 winner, Dr. Jacob Jung. As always, we appreciate your words of welcome and greetings from USD. Thank you and have a great day.